Hey guys, welcome to the Fight Tonight channel. Friends, before starting to watch this video, I would like to ask you to subscribe to my channel. I really want to get 5,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. It's so close. Thanks for supporting me, guys. You can't ever underestimate Ryan Garcia's power. Roy Jones Jr. reminds Gervonta Davis he's not the only power puncher in his next fight. In another 3 weeks, two of the biggest names in the lightweight division will face another in what is touted as a classic clash of styles. On the one hand, from Baltimore, Maryland, there is Gervonta Davis, a switch hitter with a perennial southpaw stance, relying on a devastating punching power. At the other end, there is Ryan Garcia, the boxer puncher from California, known for his lightning-fast punches. However, neither of the boxers can afford to take the opponent lightly. Former champion Roy Jones Jr. foresees a great bout. The heated press conference, or for that matter, the weight, food, and water specifications have become the talk and adding to the overall hype around the fight. The boxers, on their part, haven't faced a defeat in their careers. They boast skills that helped them scale heights and demolish one opponent after the other. However, an effective 93% knockout win rate and atrocious reputation for early stoppages land Davis an educated upper hand over his younger rival, with an 83% knockout win rate. Moreover, in the past, Tank has fought and outboxed high-caliber boxers such as Yuriorkis Gamboa, Leo Santa Cruz, Isaac Cruz, and Rolando Romero. So, coupled with his capabilities, is it easy to assume he would get a walkover from Garcia? If Gervonta Davis hazards such a guess, then a word of caution from former world champion and one of boxing's all-time greats, Roy Jones Jr. may be helpful. Jones Jr. talked about the big fight. The living legend states, "You can't ever underestimate Ryan's power. Ryan is sharp. He's quick and he's very good. Fast muscle. Ryan has to get out and get an early lead. Use his long range to keep Tank at bay. Use the sharp strength punch to keep Tank outside." So, from Garcia's end, damage to Tank in the early rounds would go a long way in sealing a victory. It will help the former derive some advantage during the last few rounds, in a way that would apply pressure on Davis to stay fresh and converse himself. First, Ryan must keep himself out of harm's way. Then he could outmaneuver the Baltimorean by the second half of the bout. Gervonta Davis vs Ryan Garcia, tail of the tape. How huge fight will be won and lost, and how rivals compare. They usually fight at a lightweight limit of 135 pounds, but an extra pound of weight has been agreed by the fighters with no titles on the line. Although Garcia claimed after beating Javier Fortuna last year that he would never fight at 135 pounds again. However, they have agreed to fight at 136 pounds, with King Rai also having a 10 pounds registration clause. Both Davis, 28, and Garcia, 24, have been lobbying for a month to get the fight on, and earlier this month were involved in a heated press conference. But how will they compare with their final step between the ropes and onto the canvas? Well, Baltimore-born Davis boasts the greater experience, with 5 more fights than Garcia on his record. Tank also has a better knockout ratio. In 28 wins as a professional, Davis has 26 knockouts to his name, while Garcia, on the other hand, has a 19 KOs in his 23 wins, but Garcia is the bigger man. The pair are known as two of boxing's most fearsome punchers, and both will be willing to use their power in order to avoid a first defeat. Gervonta Davis vs Ryan Garcia. Will the registration clause make a difference? The Dozen Boxing show discussed whether a registration clause could hold Ryan Garcia back against Gervonta Tank Davis. The undefeated pair face off this April 22nd on a pay-per-view event that will be shown live on Dozen pay-per-view in the United States and Canada, but there has been plenty of discussion over a registration limit set for Garcia. Garcia is a taller man and had announced that a move up to super lightweight following his return from injury. But there is a catch weight in place for the board of 136 pounds. Such limit could affect Garcia's power disproportionately compared to the shorter Tank, and Akin Ryer's comment that one point I thought is Mario Barrios, and Tank did fight him at 130, and there was an arbitration clause in that contract, and no issues on whether the weight was going to be, but obviously and evidently Tank and his team think Garcia will be a threat if he hydrates too, in terms of power and in terms of size. That's not a bad thing, it's a smart thing, but it's still a thing. There is a worry factor, there is a concern to try and get as much advantage as we can leading up to the fight, starting with the weight. Barack Best commented, you can say that yes, there is a concern. When you're the smaller guy, it's okay to have the concern. He is a little guy, small at 135, but I would say Mario Barrios was inside that camp with Premier Boxing champions that was in-house. Maybe there was a registration clause and we didn't know about it. So yes, Ryan Garcia is a bigger threat. Tank is very vocal, he is smart. It reminds me of Floyd Mayweather vs Canelo Alvarez. What was that? 152. Floyd said Eddie Reynoso threw that out there, so it's a part of boxing. Gervonta Davis and Mayweather come face to face after fallout rumors. Floyd Mayweather and his protege, Gervonta Davis, meet up this weekend in Las Vegas. Amidst clear tensions in their relationship, both men, one a boxing legend and the other someone trying to reach that status, were in town for David Benavidez's victory over Caleb Plant. Despite being a long-term Mayweather emotions fighter, Tank was infamous for tweeting and deleting negative comments about Mayweather and the Sal Leonard Ellerby. In December of last year, the fighter from Baltimore said that he was definitely out of contract for sure, although was eager to point out that there was no bad blood. He went on to sign a fight with Ryan Garcia set for April 22nd. It will be by far the biggest event of his career, and perhaps of boxing's calendar year. Although supposedly a free agent promotionally, Davis was flanked at the recent press conference for the fight by Ellerby, who spoke on the fight at length. If that spoke to a good relationship, the fighters laid us on a line back and forth with Ryan Garcia, Muddy the Waters' father. In a tweet to his opponent, now deleted, he said, Floyd's pity ass said I couldn't use his gym anymore. A video from backstage at the Benavidez Plant event shows the two coming face to face for the first time since the above has unfolded. Although the camera is quickly covered, it appears that the pair were willing to talk to settle the bad blood. His explosiveness inside the ring, unfortunately, is not the only thing to have hit the headlines over the years, as recently alluded to by Mike Tyson. Fans will hope that any issues with Mayweather won't affect his continued rise in the sport. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel.